Hello and welcome to another AIC video. We are back at our gaming laptop for less than $150. And this is a Dell Latitude E5570. As far as specs go on here, we have a Core i7 6820 HQ. That's a 4-core 8-thread processor. We're currently rocking 16 gigs of RAM. We have two 8 gig DIMMs. Looks like they're running at 32 mega transfers a second. Oh, looks like the other thing. And then we have two graphics cards. We have the Intel HD graphics, but we also have an AMD Radeon HD 8750M. And what we're going to do is we're going to be running this benchmark 3 separate times. We're going to run it as I basically got it after I've installed everything and done Windows updates and installed some games and stuff on it. Basically as out of the box as I can get it. Then the next thing we're going to do is I have two DIMMs here of 16 gigs of 2666 RAM. We're going to go ahead and install the RAM and run it again, see what difference that makes, and then we're going to go in and do a thermal repaste the CPU and GPU and see what performance gains we get. One thing that we're going to also check is after each run, we're going to check the voltages and temperatures and power consumption, because it should be, at least for the CPU. The GPUs I never see much of a difference, maybe temperature wise with a repaste. But the CPU should pull more power if it has been given more thermal overhead. So hopefully by running new thermal paste, giving it a better chance to stay cool, cleaning it up, that will actually pull some better performance out of it. So we'll go ahead and see which of these upgrades gives the best benefit if you're looking to do something like this. Let's go ahead and I'll run the benchmark and we'll be back after the benchmark is done. Alright, so we got our score after doing the benchmark, and we'll take a screenshot of this just so that we have it for our records for when we do after we do the upgrades. So our CPU mark is 7150, 3D mark is 1362, memory mark is 2700. What I'm really curious about is the wattage. So we have a max of 40.7 watts on the CPU package. We got up to 118% utilization. Power limit 214 watts. I think the one that we really care about is this package. How much watts? How many watts the whole package use? I don't think the max temperature is really going to matter much because it's going to hit that regardless. Just because it's going to push it to its comfortable limit. For the GPU, we got up to 92 watts and got up to 1000 megahertz on the memory and 960 on the GPU. So let's go ahead and flip her over and open it up and upgrade the RAM. Alright, so we have the case unscrewed. One thing I realized is I never looked at this SSD to see what kind of SSD we're dealing with here. Wow, that's really on there. Good. Just a second. Alright, so that was something. I ended up having to drill that screw out. If you ever have to do something like that and the computer's open, do your best to kind of surround the system or surround the screw with something to protect it from as many metal shavings as possible. I have a little vacuum. I normally use it as a blower, but it's also a vacuum. I'm gonna vacuum some more around here and blow it out, make sure I get all of the metal shavings out of there, because if the metal shavings in here is touching contacts, you will short something and fry your computer. I hate doing that, but let's go ahead. Can I get this out now? Oh, I have one more dang screw. I didn't even see that one. Yeah, for whatever reason, the other two screws came right out, but this one just stripped immediately. And it didn't matter what I do. I tried the rubber band trick and everything, and it just wasn't having it. So, all right. So let's see here. We have a Micron SATA drive, 480 gigabytes. So I noticed we have here an M.2 slot drive, and I was seeing kind of where things lined up. The drive definitely fits in there, but I don't know how you would attach. I don't know if there's a bracketer here or something to hold it into place that you would want or need. So I definitely could try at a later date to see if that boots without this in it, but just this in. Probably just hold it into place with some tape or something. We'll try that later. Let's go ahead and put this drive back together. Actually, I'm going to do a little cleanup again, and then we'll be right back. All right, so we got that cleaned up, got the drive back in, and now we're back to what we were going to do originally, which is swap out this memory for 16 gigs. All right. Yeah, so these are 2133s. Now, unfortunately, these are not a matching pair just because I've been in and out of laptops for so long, but they're both 16 gig, 266 megahertz, CL19. So I think they're close enough that we should be able to get better performance than the previous ones. All right, let's go ahead and put the backpack on and we'll run another benchmark. All right, so after a bunch of fiddling around, this 16 gig DIMM is bad and kept causing the laptop to blue screen. I went ahead and just left one DIMM in and ran a benchmark. The score was terrible, far worse than having two 8 gigs in because it can't run in dual channel. So even though the RAM is slightly faster because it's not running in dual channel, it has a pretty big effect on the overall score. I'll leave this up. So what we're going to go ahead and do now, shut it all down. I'll take a screenshot of this information just for comparison at the end. But we're going to shut it down and take it apart and repaste the CPU and GPU, being that this computer is quite a few years old and has been used, I think, fairly extensively. That thermal paste is probably pretty toast. And so hopefully a repasting of that thermal paste will have a fairly positive effect on it. I'm fairly disappointed that this is dead. I have no idea how long it will take. Typically when I've had to do RMAs on stuff like this, it takes quite a bit of time to get that replacement component back. So probably not in time to do this video to have all 32 gigs of RAM in here, but we'll definitely be running with the 16. All right, so we got that off. There's still two cables run through it, so we're not taking it off completely. But it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Like almost 40 screws. That does include the screws for the heatsink, which I haven't removed yet. But that is an absolute ludicrous amount of screws to get to this heatsink to repaste it. I thought my ZBook 14 was bad, and it was like 20 something screws, I think. And there's going to be, here's the for the RAM, and there's going to be some thermal pad that I'm probably going to destroy. I have some replacement thermal pads I'll probably put on there. Oh my goodness. So we're going to get this off. We're going to repaste it. But yeah, this is not for the faint of heart. And you definitely want to keep a good eye on your screws. There's two different sizes of screws. And so you'll want to remember, I took pictures. So hopefully I get everything back in the right place. But oh my goodness, that was a lot of screws. So not hard. Like, it wasn't hard, but it makes you kind of nervous to have that many screws that you then have to make sure you get back in the right place. Because if you put a long screw in a short hole, you could pierce something, either bend or break something. So there's also quite a few ribbon cables that have to be fed over that as well. So again, I took pictures. So we'll get this repasted and we'll put it all back together and do our benchmarks again. All right, so I've been going at this for quite some time trying to get a good result from my upgrade, and I think we've hit a point where I'm pretty happy with the results we got. So comparing the old results to the new results, there was definitely an improvement. CPU was slightly better. A couple of the runs I got quite a bit better. Some of them slightly better. This was a slightly better run. 3D Mark is slightly better. Even Disk Mark is better. The big thing is on most of the runs, the CPU was able to pull more wattage than it had previously. This run, for whatever reason, I think it's because I ran several in a row. You get a little heat soak there, which is fine. That's why I do it a few times in a row. Plus, it's quite hot in my office today because I don't have air conditioning. But overall, we definitely got a better score after basically all we did was repaste the CPU and GPU. I did go ahead and load up and do a benchmark on two other systems, one that's a generation older and one that's two-ish generations newer. So just for comparison, so first one is the older generation laptop. This is my ZBook 14, and we have on here, let's see if I can get this any bigger. All right, that's a little bit easier to read, and they're similar size. So obviously the dual core CPU in the ZBook 14 is going to not do as well as the quad core in the Latitude E5570. So, and we got a little bit more than twice, which is what I'd expect. 3D Mark actually was pretty close, a lot closer than I expected. Memory Mark, this is the Dell has DDR4 where the HP has DDR3. Disk Mark, they're both running SATA drives. However, the Dell, I did a little bit of research and bought the adapter to run that NVMe. So definitely going to be doing that upgrade here. All right, next we're going to look at is my Lenovo ThinkBook. I've done a quick review on this. I'll be doing a follow-up on it. It does have an 8th gen Core i5, which is a quad core, but I think it's a much lower wattage than the one in the Latitude E5570. And it is a Core i5 versus a Core i7. All three of these laptops have dedicated graphics with 2 gigs of video memory. 3D Mark is slightly better on the ThinkBook. Memory Mark is slightly worse, which surprises me because it's running DDR4 as well. And the Disk Mark also surprises me. But no, it doesn't surprise me, excuse me. It doesn't surprise me because the ThinkBook is running an NVMe drive where the other two are not. So that does make a pretty big difference in overall performance. So definitely, if you're getting an older system, definitely repaste your CPU and GPU. It will make a difference in the system. It also just runs cooler when I'm not doing any kind of benchmarking. So that means the fans run a lot less as well. So definitely worth taking the time to do that. Anyways, I would love for any suggestions you might have on games you'd like to see played on this. I assume, again, if you're getting a system that costs only $150 or less, that you're not going to be playing the most modern AAA titles, that you're going to be playing something a little bit older and cheaper. And so definitely give me an idea of what you'd be wanting to look for on this system. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.